Alright, let's do a silent run. Win streak over. um, we get Niao's Gift, a card reward, or 15 damage to choose a rare colorless card. Some of the rare colorless cards are really good, specifically with Silent. There's like the one where enemies take 3 damage when you debuff them, and Silent is super good at debuff. It makes Piercing Wail into like an AoE damage card. I don't know if I'm willing to take 15 damage for the chance at it. That was a I don't know. I just drew bad. I got bad cards, right? You know, I got no attacks on the first card ward. I chose not to pick an attack on the second card award. Anger would have been really good against sentries in retrospect, but skipped it for a 2-cost thing that I never played. Yeah, that was rough. So if we take 15 damage, we definitely need to get a fire before the first elite. This is a fire before an elite. This is also a fire before an elite. But we can't get there without doing 5 hallway fights, so that's probably out. All these paths are kind of awkward. I guess we end up going here through a shop. Oh wait, we can go through these question marks instead. So we probably want to go here. And then we can get a second elite at one of those two. Get an extra shop fire over here. It's a little bit dicey to take 15 damage at all from Niao. Especially as Silent, where you struggle to keep health in early hallway fights. Plus the 15 damage, like, the rewards could be like Mayhem and like other Mayhem Panacea or whatever. It could be like Apotheosis, which would be really nice. Yeah, okay, let's try it. Alright, there is Sadistic Nature, that's exactly what I was talking about. We could do Magnetism too. Magnetism runs are fun. Secret Technique helps find the inevitable catalyst. But I really like Sadistic Nature on Silent. Especially with like, I always forget what the AoE poison thing is. Where it's like 4 poison and 2 weak to everything, and then upgraded it's 7 poison. That thing does 6 AoE damage with Sadistic Nature. It's like a fan of knives gets tacked onto it. So we'll grab that. That's exactly what I was talking about. Okay, we get to develop it turn 1. We're going to block out for at least 5. We could take 1 to do 6 damage. We're going to get weakened next turn. So this strike is the difference between... if we do this strike, Neutralize still kills him, which is a pretty good reason. Oh, actually, Neutralize does an extra 3 damage, so Neutralize will do 5 damage next turn. Yeah, I'm just going to make sure I can kill that Spike Zone, because I don't want to rely on drawing 2 cards next turn to kill him. So we're probably going to kill him with Strike and then neutralize the big one, because it does more damage than Strike right now. Block out. We don't have lethal, we only have 18 damage, so we'll block as much as we can, and then do some damage. This is what I'm talking about, Silent, losing health on early hallway fights. We lost like 10 in this fight. Took 15 from Niao. Adds up. Sucker Punch applies a debuff, pretty much as an auto pick. It's a really good floor 1 card to begin with. Turn 1 Sadistic Nature again. When you upgrade Sadistic Nature, it goes up to 5 damage? 4 damage. Didn't lose any health in that fight. That's nice. Deadly Poison's pretty much what we're looking for. Applies a debuff, does a bunch of damage. Sure. I think we're okay removing a strike. We got Sucker Punch and Deadly Poison. We're on a good trajectory. I'll take 1 damage to do an extra 6. Jawworm's pretty scary. Sadistic Nature is late. So it looks like probably 2 damage in the fight. That's okay. None of these do debuffs. Dash is great. We're pretty low on health, so I'm going to pick Dash so that we can, you know, pull out of the dive. Our question mark is a hard fight, which is alarming. I like poisoning louses because it doesn't break their armor, so you can just kill them later. So like, Deadly Poison's going to do 5 and then 4, which is 9, so then I just strike him, and he dies. But I would also like to Sucker Punch him because he's doing more damage. I guess they're both in the same weak damage reduction bracket. So it doesn't really matter which one I Sucker Punch. It reduces the damage by the same amount. We're always going to defend, and we're always going to Sucker Punch in Deadly Poison. The question is who? I think we're going to Deadly Poison Louse. We want to get that damage off the board. And Sucker Punch Fungi Beast. I guess we're just blocking for the most, because all of our cards block. This is guaranteed lethal, so I'll take it. Alright. Flying Knee's great. We have a dash, so we need a little bit of extra energy if we can get it. None of these apply debuffs. All attack is kind of neat, because it does AoE damage, but it's kind of awkward later, and we already have a source of AoE, which is Sadistic Nature. Quick Slash is kind of weak, so I think we're going to go with Flying Knee here. The Block Pot is a huge pickup too, that can help us survive Gremlin Nub. Alright, I think we rest at this fire, and then we're ready for Gremlin Nub. Alright, it's Sentries. Really hard to apply debuffs to Sentries, but it can be done. We kind of have to choose here between Dash Flying Knee, which is like a bunch of damage but doesn't do any debuffs, or Sucker Punch Deadly Poison Defend. Sucker Punch Deadly Poison Defend does 12 damage and takes 5. Dash Flying Knee does 18 damage and takes 0. But the 12 damage comes with sort of 4 and then 3 over the next 2 turns. But 12 plus 4 is only 16, so it only gets 1 extra damage after 3 turns. So I think it's Dash Flying Knee. Alright, we're always playing Sadistic Nature. We have 4 energy, so we'll just play all the rest of the cards. Careful to play Survivor last, so that actually works. Take 2. Funnily enough, this is when we would get the extra 1 damage and 2 poison from the other line. So this would be more threatening if we'd gone the other way. Let's assume that we're going to draw a strike next turn and do 2 strikes here and remove his artifact charge, so that we could potentially kill him with Sadistic procs later. Or I could like lose a second run in a row to sentries. That'd be fun too. We could block pot to block for 7, but no, we're not gonna do that. We can deadly poison this guy, get him dead pretty soon. But then we have to like dash the 4 health guy, which wastes 6 damage. I mean, deadly poison does more damage than dash right now, so I guess I waste less by putting it on this sentry. And I still want to block out, so whatever. Sometimes things don't line up nicely. Very good turn here, double defend. Flying knee doesn't really do anything. So we won't be able to spend 4 energy next turn, but... Oh, we almost can. He's taking 3, then 2, then 1. That's a total of 6 damage. I'm going to assume that we're going to kill him by the next time he rotates around, and I'm going to set up to weaken this sentry, which may block. Okay, well let's kill him by the next time around then. Take 10. Could have blocked with the block potion. I guess I want 12 out of it. If it blocks for 10 again this fight, I'll use it. Yeah, looks like we're getting out of this without any more damage. Alright, well that went okay. Bottled flame is an option. Do we want to bottle an attack? Probably neutralize, and then we like upgrade neutralize. Silent has trouble spending all their energy on the first turn because of Ring of the Snake, so guaranteeing neutralize is really nice. Bottled Tornado would have been better, but that's not the choice that's on the table. We could pick Bane. We do have a deadly poison. It doesn't apply a debuff, though. Looks like we're probably going to this fire, because we lost quite a bit of health. So then I guess we're forced into going to a shop to get the next elite. Which means that if this question mark is like Serpent, we take it. Which is a long way of saying we're going to a shop, so I don't need to buy damage, because I can maybe get some damage at the shop. Bane is good, though. We're against Hexaghost, so we're a little bit behind. We need to either find more poison or take this Bane. I would prefer to take more poison because of Sadistic nature. But I'll take Bane, because it seems like it might be important. Then we're going to bottle and neutralize, like we talked about. Could bottle and dash. Dash is better in Act 1 hallway fights, but it gets really bad later. So I'll take the neutralize. I don't think we can do this. Go to 3. Could upgrade neutralize, which we really need. Sadistic nature would be nice. Dash is a good upgrade. Deadly poison's really good. Sucker punch. Oh, maybe I should have bottled the sucker punch, huh? It's kind of like a better neutralize. No, I think we just leave here. Anchor's great. Love to see that. I think we're resting here. Got a pretty decent little bank, so we should be able to make something happen at this shop. Sling of Courage. Well, Bouncing Flask is great. That jumps right out. We could take Blood Vial and hope to become a vampire later. Blood Vial, Bouncing Flask. Oh wait, we can't afford that. That's too much money. What can we afford with Bouncing Flask? We are left with 164, or 168, so we could afford Bouncing Flask, Sling of Courage almost exactly. We could do Bouncing Flask, Well Laid Plans card remove. Bouncing Flask almost certainly puts us ahead of Automaton, which is nice. As long as we can block his first attack. I'm not sure what Well-Laid Plans is doing in the deck exactly, but probably we'll find a Catalyst eventually. Yeah, this seems fine. Alright, here's Gremlin Nub. I guess we play Well-Laid Plans and keep a strike versus playing the strike now. Is that a good idea? We get an extra energy next turn. Oh, we could keep Neutralize. Yeah, we probably want to keep Neutralize, huh? Because then we can debuff him when it matters more. It seems like a waste of damage, though. Let's see, how critical is the damage? He's at 75. Total damage in the deck is 3, plus 6 is 9. 15. I guess we have to play one of these to enable Bane. 15 plus... we'll call this 17 if it ticks for 2 turns. Good morning, Fudgy Pudgies. That is a great name. I love it. So 15 plus 17 is 32. 39 plus 14 is 53. 63. So we don't have enough damage, even if we play both Strike and Neutralize for this shuffle. Which is not a good sign. But it is also a sign that we need to trick our way through it, which means we need to save Neutralize. Yeah, I definitely try and enable some learning by talking through everything, but I also die a lot. So watching Ascension 20 means that the streamer is going to have significantly different priorities than would be appropriate for Ascension 1. Even if you're like the best, if you play completely optimally and make no mistakes, I think your Ascension 20 win percent is still probably like 30%. So it's really appropriate to take like high risk, high reward plays on Ascension 20 because you need to take those risks so that the rewards pay off, because that's the only way you win. And sometimes those risks kill you, but on Ascension 1 you should be able to win. If you play perfectly optimally, you win 100% of the time, to be honest. Don't take as many risks as you see me taking. And then I think you'll be in good shape. But, you know, you have to make the right plays for the situation that's presented, so that's not really general purpose advice. We talked about playing Bouncing Flask and getting 17 damage out of it. It looks like we're going to play it a little bit earlier than I anticipated. We're going to play it right now, because we've got Sadistic Nature. So we're going to take a little bit of extra damage from Gremlin Knob, because he's going to get some strength this turn. But that's okay, we've got Neutralize for next turn when the big attack comes. And we can block out with Block Potion this turn. Although it's only blocking for 11. We are skipping Dash to play Bouncing Flask, which is unfortunate. But Dash does 10 damage, and Bouncing Flask with Sadistic Nature is doing, let's see, it was 17 plus 6, or wait, plus 7 is 24. 24 plus 9, so it's doing 33 damage from the 3 turns of poison and the 3 ticks of Sadistic Nature. Just quite a bit more damage than 10. And we can't survive for that long against Gremlin Nub, even with our tricks. So we're going to need to take that damage. Oh, good point. We can just dash right now. Yeah, thanks to last turn's Flying Knee, we have 2 energy left. Okay, yeah, that seems great. Gremlin Knob does not get extra attack for that particular use, so we get sort of free block. And I guess we keep the Neutralize again. It's most effective next turn when he's attacking for like 30 or something. Yeah, 28. Okay, so now he is only attacking for 21. So It's probably going to be the block pot and Bane. Do we like double defend with it? Let's see. Okay, so after we Bane, he's at 27. He's taking 8 plus 7 damage, which is 15 over the next 2 turns. We have at least 7 damage, so we have 22 damage. Assuming we drop 5 damage, we're going to have lethal next turn. Or we could Deadly Poison right now and get guaranteed lethal. Ooh, somebody for me to ban. This is very exciting for me. Bye. So if we Deadly Poison right now, he gets 3 strength. His damage is a little bit hard to figure out. I believe it's 16 base, so he's got plus 3 is 19, but then we're vulnerable and he's weak. He does 1.5 with 25% less than that. Oh my god, what is that number even? 1.5 times 0.75 is 1.125 times damage, which is apparently 21, which tracks, right? It's 19 plus 2, I guess. I guess that's an 1/8 extra. He's doing 9/8 damage. So if we defend, he most likely only gains 3 strength. If he hits a breakpoint, he gains 4, and we only block for 1. But most likely defend blocks for 2. So I think the line here is defend Deadly Poison, so that we get the guaranteed lethal. And then block pot, obviously. Oh my god, what have I done? I could have become famous. Cool. Oh, Memori. Well, Piercing Wail is excellent. It's one of the best cards in the game, and we have Sadistic Nature, which turns it into an AoE attack, which is insane. So we'll take Sadistic Nature. Or Piercing Wail. Also, it's super good against Hexaghost, because if you can line it up with either the 2nd or 7th turn, you block a huge multi-attack. Remains to be seen if that's possible. We really need to find a way to get that Sadistic Nature right off the bat, because it's bad when we don't get it. I'll put all our damage into one of them. Nothing else interesting to do this turn. Bouncing Flask is probably going to waste some damage. We have to kill one to block. We have 4 energy. So we could guaranteed kill the front one with Sucker Punch Strike. The best case scenario is Bouncing Flask kills the front one, then we Sucker Punch the back one and defend. We can't really count on that. The worst case scenario is Bouncing Flask hits only the back one, and then we have to Sucker Punch Strike the front one to kill him. And then we're taking, like, 16. We can... Okay, let's just see where Bouncing Flask goes. Because if it hits him at least once, we can kill him with Strike. Okay, fine. So we can strike him, and then... Which blocks for more? Defend or Sucker Punch? So he's hitting for 16, defend blocks for 5, Sucker Punch blocks for 4, but it does 7 damage. I'll take 1 damage to do 7, sure. Ooh, Weak Potion is good. Second copy of Piercing Wail. Okay, sure. It's a little bit early to have a second Piercing Wail, but I don't mind it. We have to kill the fat gremlins as soon as possible. It looks like our max damage is dash, but our max damage is actually deadly poison, neutralize. I guess we can play them all. But that means we have to skip flying knee. We can kill one fat gremlin with dash neutralize, and then kill the other one over time with deadly poison. Yeah, I like that. So we avoided one round of debuffs. We have to kill this one and then quickly switch to Gremlin Wizard. It's possible we should switch to Gremlin Wizard now. He has taken lethal damage, quote unquote. Let's see where these land. Okay, great. So he's now literally dead. So I guess we do the max damage, which is Bane on front guy. One does 2 damage, and we could kill Shield Gremlin instead. I've got a bad feeling about this. We're going to get shot for a lot with Gremlin Wizard. But if we don't Bane this guy, he's guaranteed to shield Gremlin Wizard again. So we should kill him. Alright, can we do 20 damage? No. We can weak pot and double piercing whale. Piercing whale blocks reduces his strength by 12 to 18, so we do survive barely. We also do 9 damage to him with all that stuff. Well, okay. And then we just have to find a strike next turn to survive. Well, that's one of the hardest hallway fights, so... yeah, it's funny because it's really easy to see. Okay, so Slay the Spire has a really like spiky like card power landscape, right? So like I'm very much building around something. I'm building around Sadistic nature, right? But the thing about doing that sort of build around is Sadistic nature is like really close to the Watcher's like, or to the Silence like core identity. So I'm not like pivoting really far to focus around Sadistic nature. I can just like build a regular good silent deck that's like doing poison and picking piercing whales and stuff. And still build around it. But yeah, it's really easy to get trapped in like, okay, so we just focus around all this stuff. Yes, poison does count as a debuff. But it's really easy to get caught in the trap of just focus around all this stuff and then, you know, ignore the fact that you don't have any defense and monsters are just killing you. Alchemize is good. One of the primary things that Alchemize is good at is over the course of the run, you'll probably find a fruit juice, which is really nice. You'll also probably find like a regen pot or like a flex pot when you need it. Things that Alchemize is bad at, if you're like late in the run and both of your potion slots are full of fairy in a bottle, it's like totally a blank card. It's just a curse. So Alchemize is really most valuable early on. Alchemize is also good because it can get you Ghost in a Jar. Ghost in a Jar is insane. Yes, so I don't know about I don't know if that sort of like very strict sort of prescriptive build order is correct, but you should be focused on the next problem that you haven't solved yet, right? So so the very first problem that all classes have is Gremlin Nub. You have to fight Act 1 elites or else you don't get enough power. And Act 1 elite pool includes Gremlin Nub, and Gremlin Nub will absolutely kill you if you're not ready for him. So basically, the only cards you're allowed to pick on the first couple of card rewards are attacks. And you can go against that to some extent. But if you go too far away from it, if you like, I had an Ironclad run just a second ago where I like didn't get offered any good attacks, so I picked like a skill and a power, and then got killed. It wasn't by Gremlin Nub, but it was because the deck didn't do enough damage. So yes, damage is always the first problem, but in Act 2, the problem may not be AoE. You need to know what the threats are that you're going to face, see what the deck is doing, and react appropriately. And sometimes you need to recognize that you can't deal with all the problems. You need to recognize that, like, if I run into Gremlin Nub first, he's just going to kill me, and then we're going to go to the next run. Because sometimes you can't prepare for all options, and if you try to prepare for all options, you actually decrease your win percentage because you've picked something that's like suboptimal for the way that the game is actually going to challenge you. Okay, but that's all theoretical, and here we are faced with a very real decision. We got some good poison stuff going on. I kind of like our damage. We're about to go to Hexaghost. I don't think we need more damage. So I think Slice is out, Blade Dance is also out. Both of these cards are pretty bad in the absence of pretty much specifically Kunai. Kunai is what makes those good. Hey Sir Artemal, how's it going? We're really just thinking, do we want that Alchemize? We have a potion slot right now. Alchemize feels really stupid if we pick Sozu as a boss relic reward. But it feels really great if we pick Sacred Bark, so those kind of cancel out. And in fact, it makes Sacred Bark much better if we have an Alchemize in the deck. And Sacred Bark's already great. So that's something. It costs 0 when upgraded, which is something. Alchemize is a tough card to figure out, because it really interacts with the game in a totally different way as every other card. There's no other card that lets you get a potion. It's really out there. So there's nothing to compare it to. There's no potions we really need. There's no, like, Catalyst potion. There is a Poison potion, which is okay. Actually, potions are pretty good, because there's several potions that apply debuffs. So it works well with Sadistic Nature. Also, you can get a potion with Alchemize and then hold it until you Sadistic Nature. It also gives the deck a side quest. The deck doesn't currently have a side quest. We could sort of gain a potion every fight. Alchemize is a little bit like White Beast statue that way. Yeah, I think I'll take it. It's good. Obviously, we need to heal here. We're at 5, so this does bring us to an unfortunate breakpoint. I would rather be at 23 than 24, because whenever you cross a number that's evenly divisible by 2, Hexaghost will do 6 extra damage. Or, sorry, evenly divisible by 12, not 2. If it was 2, Hexaghost would kill you every time you saw him. So he's going to do 3 times 6 on turn 2. We can weaken him for turn 2, which is nice. So let's do that. And then I guess Flying Knee and Alchemize. Guess I should have Alchemized first. Okay. A little bit of extra energy. We could Piercing Wail to block out, but I think we'll save Piercing Wail for the 7th turn. I guess it's the 8th turn? Whatever. The turn when he's at 6 fires again. Because we can mostly block out this turn with Dash. So I think this turn is Dash, Strike Well-Laid Plans. Oh. Take 2. He is doing 6 damage. We get to hold one of these cards. I guess that card should be Bouncing Flask. Let's see. Hexaghost is on a strict schedule, so let's... my question is he attacking next turn? I feel like he attacks for like 4 next turn. But I want to look it up. Okay. So this is Seer. Next turn is Tackle. So he's attacking for 12 next turn. So I'm thinking about this because next turn we're drawing Sadistic Nature, and it would be really nice to pair together Sadistic Nature and Bouncing Flask, since it does an extra 9 damage in the presence of Sadistic Nature. But I also want to be able to block out. So that next turn would be Sadistic Nature, Bouncing Flask, Survivor, I suppose. And then we'd take 4. Whereas if we don't keep Bouncing Flask, we keep Deadly Poison instead, then we do Sadistic Nature, Deadly Poison, Survivor, Defend. We're skipping 6 damage, but we're getting 4 more poison ahead of time, so we actually only skip 2 damage. And we get to use our mana more efficiently this turn. Yeah, okay, we'll do it that way. Alright, we already talked about this turn, so now we're just doing it. Alright, Deadly Poison's here again. We want to save one of these two. Which is it? This is Inferno. No, it's not Inferno. This is... Which attack is this? Oh, this is Seer. Okay, so this is Seer, so next up is Inflame. So next turn he's not attacking at all. We definitely want to save Whale for a better turn, I think. We want to save Whale for the big Inferno turn. We currently have 2 copies of Piercing Whale, but we want to... I guess we do have well-laid plans, so we could use the Piercing Whale now and then save the other one. But I don't think that's correct. I think we're just going to dash now and Sucker Punch next turn. Alright, he's not attacking, so we get to attack him. Hiya. We can block for 2, or we can attack for 6. We're a little bit behind, is my current evaluation. We don't really want him to attack us for a bunch, although we do have a Piercing Whale for it. Alright, we'll defend for 2. It's probably time to drink the Colorless Potion at some point. I guess that's not yet. We could spend Piercing Whale to get rid of most of this damage. Let's see how much it is after that. Yeah, we can block that with these 2. Keep the Piercing Whale. I would like to double defend, but Bouncing Flask does a ton of damage, so I don't think we can skip it. So I guess it's just Bouncing Flask, single defend. Keep the Piercing Whale for next turn. Yeah, we can't skip it, Bouncing Flask. Maybe this is the Colorless Potion turn. Well, that's bad. I guess we can Purity away a burn. Okay, fine. I'll take the other defend too, I don't really need that. And take 4. Alright, here's the turn we've been saving Piercing Whale for. Yeah, none of that, thank you. And then I guess we dash. Save the other Piercing Whale. He's gonna continue doing more, like 9 times 2 attacks and stuff. We were definitely too slow in this fight. We're going to take a bunch of damage from burns now. We got 3 energy. We're definitely going to do defend, because we're taking 8 damage from our hand. Looks like we're kind of all hands on deck here, so I guess we're going to defend Piercing Whale and Bane. and that should be lethal next turn. Assuming we survive the burns in our hand. There's no burns in hand. Great. Alright. Well, that went okay. About as well as could be expected, I suppose. There's Burst. Or Wraith Form. We do have Alchemize, so we could Burst Alchemize. It's kind of cute. Burst Bouncing Flask in the presence of Sadistic Nature is an absurd amount of damage. Okay, the kind of, like, silent cards of power are, like, Catalyst, Bouncing Flask, Well-Laid Plans, and, like, Wraith Form are generally, like, you generally have at least one of those, when you're winning the game. That's true, you do nearly always have... Well, you nearly always have a defend in your deck. Sometimes the strikes become bites. But it's I don't want to misconstrue that, like, frequency analysis as advice, right? Because you shouldn't... If you don't have any poison and you're on, like, floor 15, you shouldn't pick Catalyst and then force poison, right? Some decks don't have any poison. So Catalyst is a big one, though. Most silent decks that kill the heart do it with Catalyst. Which is kind of unfortunate because it is an uncommon, so sometimes you just don't find it. Yeah, Noxious Tunes is great. Sometimes you don't need that, though, because sometimes you get, like, Ear Funnel, so you can sort of start with the poison. We already have an Alchemize, so it's between Burst and Wraith Form here. Burst is quite good. I would pick Burst more highly if I had a Leg Sweep, and I would love to take a Leg Sweep, because Sadistic Nature. Yeah, but Wraith Form is really good. Blur, I would not say, is a frequent inclusion in good silent decks. It's okay. It kind of the spot that Blur would go in is generally occupied by what's the card that generates 4 block and then 4 block next turn? Yeah, Piercing Wail is almost always in successful silent decks. Also, we should call out the synergy between Piercing Wail and Wraith Form. Piercing Wail is a way that we can... Yeah, Dodge and Roll. That's the card I'm talking about. Usually you kind of have to pick between Dodge and Roll and Blur. You don't generally want both, and they both do kind of the same thing, but then Dodge and Roll works better with Footwork, because you get twice as much block per dex. It also just, like, automatically makes you have block next turn. You don't have to, like, actually have block survive this turn. I think it's a Wraith Form here. I like Burst, but Wraith Form's so good. I don't know, though. Burst is really good. Burst is better at killing people. Wraith Form is better at surviving. Which are we trying to do right now? Are we better at killing people or surviving right now? Looks like we've got killing people sort of on lockdown. We've got Deadly Poison and Bouncing Flask. Sadistic Nature. It's not like... We can't kill Act 3 fights, but, like, we're not going into Act 3 yet. So I think we take Wraith Form. We also have Well-Laid Plans, so we can hold Wraith Form until the perfect time, which is exactly what you want. There's a Sacred Bark. So I love Sacred Bark. Sacred Bark is super good. But the main problem with it is that your potion slot's going to get full. And then you basically just don't have a boss relic, which is really problematic. And we already have that problem because we have Alchemize. So it's possible we end up, like, discarding a fairy in a bottle this run. Because we need potion slots so badly. And you can't drink them intentionally. I don't really even consider Ring of the Serpent to be an upgrade over Ring of the Snake, which makes it pretty awkward to pick it. Because you're trying to set things up on turn 1, so like giving up the turn 1 draw to get a turn 2 and 3 draw, like it doesn't even pay off until turn 3 in terms of net card draw. And it's not an energy relic, so like drawing extra cards every turn doesn't necessarily mean you can spend all of them. I almost never pick Ring of the Serpent. It's better than Skip, probably, but not by a lot. Calling Bell. Calling Bell was a critical component of the Watcher deck that we got a win with yesterday. We could totally find some really, really good relics, like the Specimen, or Snecko Skull, or Ear Funnel. Lots of stuff that's really good. But I think Sacred Bark is also really good, and we have Alchemize. Whereas we can't say definitively that Calling Bell is going to give us something that actually like works well with what we're doing. Calling Bell can pretty much completely whiff. You know what? Actually, we have Omamori though. Omamori plus Calling Bell is pretty crazy. Yeah, it does work how you think. Unless how you think is weird. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so a lot of times that'll happen like early on. So like you pick a card that's like okay, for example, we have a Dash in our deck. We picked Dash because we needed to fight Gremlin Nub. And it's super good at Act 1, but then by the time you get into Act 3, you're like, really? Why would I pay 2 energy to do only 10 block? And like, you'll still play it sometimes, but like, you want to be playing Piercing Wails instead, because Piercing Wail is going to block for like 30, right? Because you've got 3 enemies attacking and 2 of them are multi-attacking, right? So for 1 energy, it does like 5 times as much as Dash does. But, you know, the Dash is still sort of kicking around in your deck. No, we had to pick Dash to beat Gremlin Knob. We don't regret it, but it is correct to remove it sometimes. Obviously, we would rather remove a strike, but... 2 really strong contenders. Calling Bell plus Omamori or Sacred Bark plus Alchemize. I almost think that we should pick Calling Bell because Omamori is harder to use. There's a lot of times when Omamori just like doesn't do anything for the entire run. It's a little bit too early in the run for this to be a run like that. We're almost certainly going to get some value out of Omamori at some point. But it would be really nice to get some of that value right now. Because Omamori is a resource, and currently we're not using it. And whenever you're not using a resource, you are losing efficiency, and if you lose too much of that efficiency, you will lose the run. So it would be great to spend those. But then Sacred Bark is also super efficient because it makes these potions really good. I think, okay, with the Alchemize, I'm too afraid of getting blocked up with Fairy Bottles. And not wanting to discard them, so I'm going to pick Calling Bell. Oddly Smoothstone's great, Darkstone Periap's terrible, Unceasing Top is useless. So we got 1 dex out of that, which is way worse than Sacred Bark. This is pretty much exactly the whiff thing we were talking about. I mean, Oddly Smoothstone's great, but like any common relic... oh, by the way, Calling Bell gives you a common, uncommon, and rare relic. Any common relic is generally going to be helpful. There's not any any bad ones, because they're just all like sort of basic effects. So this one's pretty much guaranteed to hit. But, you know, 1 dex is like, it's okay. And then Darkstone Periap is like one of the worst relics in the game. Totally useless. Also, in the presence of Omamori, it doesn't do anything. So that's basically completely a whiff. And then Unceasing Top is going to be very difficult to make go with a well-laid plans in a Wraith form. So, really, really bad Calling Bell here. 1 dex. Yikes. Okay, we don't have enough money that we feel like we super have to go to a shop. There are 2 easy fights in Act 2, so it would be nice if we could do these 2 fights and these question marks. I talk about this all the time, but I'll say it again. Act 2 question marks are great. Act 2 question marks can turn you into a vampire or a ghost, which is basically how you win the game if you are silent. So we should try to hit some Act 2 question marks. If we want to hit a whole bunch of them, we could do 4 here and then 2 here. That's probably too many, to be honest. But not by a lot. Also, the Mausoleum is an event that we could get that would help us use our Omori. I mean, Act 1 and Act 3 question marks are okay. Okay, let's talk about each of them. Act 2 question marks are great. Especially as a silent, we need to dodge some of the hallway fights. Hallway fights are dangerous. So we kind of want to take the easy pool ones and then like maybe go to a fire and then fight an elite. And like later on in the act we can start fighting hard ones. Also worth noting, Act 2 question marks are really scary after the halfway mark, after this relic, because there's an event called the Colosseum where you can get thwacked and dragged into this like horrible fight. Thanks for the follow, Fudgy Pudgies. Dragged into this horrible fight with 2 slavers, and then if you win that fight, which you probably do, you can either run away and get nothing out of the fight and just lose health, or you can take this horrible fight against it's like a Gremlin Knob and the Taskmaster, which, like, you know, you're an Act 2 deck, you can probably handle it, but you're gonna lose some health. Like, those guys hit. Really, really nasty event. You're basically fighting an Act 2 elite as a surprise, and then you get nothing out of it most of the time. So it's pretty awful. But before the halfway mark, Act 2 question marks are really good. Okay, so you asked about Act 1 and Act 3 question marks, though. So Act 1 question marks, I'm a little bit less enthusiastic about. Act 1 question marks can certainly do some good things. You can get upgrades, you can get gold, you can get a golden idol, you can do like card rewards and all kinds of crazy stuff. But generally in Act 1 you need to be doing some hallway fights so that you can get card rewards and power up. The best time to do question marks in Act 1 is right before a shop. So there's a couple of Act 1 question marks that are normally bad, but are good if they're right before a shop. Like the Serpent or Shrine of Gold, where you can take a curse to get a bunch of gold, and then you can go to the shop and remove the curse with the gold, and have a bunch of extra gold. So generally look for paths where you can go like question mark, shop. But the main thing that question marks are for in Act 1 is making sure that you only do the easy pool fights, and then like a fire and then an elite. So you want to do 3 fights specifically, because there's 3 easy fights in Act 1, and then the hard fights are the ones that can kill you. The hard fights are the ones where it's like a mob of gremlins, or a mob of slimes, or like, you know, like the little rat that's a fungus rat, the fungi beast, plus an acidic slime or something. Like, there's a lot of really hard ones. So you want to avoid those Act 1 hard fights until you're ready for them. And that's the main thing that Act 1 question marks are for. Act 3 question marks are kind of weird. There's a lot of them that are like, take 10 damage to add 3 colorless cards to your deck. And those colorless cards can be like really powerful. There's like Mind Bloom, where you just like fight an Act 1 boss, and you get like a relic out of it and stuff. But you're not really generally like looking for question marks in Act 1, you're just sort of in Act 3, because they're all so different, you're just kind of reacting to them. But in Act 2, you have to get a bunch of question marks if you want to turn into a vampire, so that's what we're focused on right now. Okay, so we're going to go here so we can take these question marks. And we're probably going to take this fight, unless this is a fight. If this is a fight, we'll go this way to dodge the hard one. Avocado. We got some pretty good block on turn 1, so that's nice. We can save the piercing whale and get a little bit of damage in through the plated armor. We can't afford Sadistic Nature, Bouncing Flask, Dash, so I think we're going to Sadistic Nature, Bouncing Flask, Piercing Whale. Take 2. We could just Wraith Form right now. It's probably too early though. I think we just defend, well-laid plans, hold the Wraith Form. And take 6. Here's our side quest. Deadly Poison, last card, is not fun. So we can only block for 12. So we would take 7 if we let him hit us. We did take more than 7 last turn, and we could use a potion here to block for 16, take 5. I guess let's see what's in this box, and then maybe use the potion to block. I think we use the Blessing of Forge and the Dex Potion. Blessing of Forge I don't really respect a lot. It's not super valuable. So I guess now we're blocking for 18. So we're only taking 3, so this would block for 3. I guess I want more than 3 health out of this, so we'll just block here. And now this Wraith Form lets us be intangible for 3 turns. But I don't want to skip Deadly Poison particularly. But we're frail again. So we can Deadly Poison, Piercing Whale, defend. Block for 10, take 2. Okay. Alright, I think this is the turn we Wraith Form and hold Bouncing Flask. Let's see, the alternative is we dash defend. Dash only blocks for 8, so we would take 3 damage. It's not very much damage, but Wraith Form already blocks for gives us 3 intangible, and he's already almost dead in 3 turns, so seems like this is the time to use it. I guess it's not necessary because we have guaranteed lethal, but we'll hold this in case he's doing extra damage next turn or something. Okay. We are at 37 out of 66. If we encounter the Ghost event, we go to 33 out of 66, so we don't take very much damage anymore. I think we skip all these. We're pretty good on damage. I mean, I say I'm pretty good on damage, but in fact we kind of struggled to do damage in that fight. Maybe this Sadistic Nature Bouncing Flask combo is not doing as much as I thought it was. And we could augment that with a Poison Stab. Yeah, I'm not against Poison Stab. The problem with Bouncing Flask is against Slavers or Gremlin Leader, you can't target it, so it kind of just does whatever it wants to do. So it'd be nice to have another targeted debuff, so I'll take Poison instead. I think it's Hyper Beam. No, it's Collector. I was wrong. Do we want a card remove? Probably. We're not going to a shop anytime soon, so yeah, card remove's fine. We're going to this shop though, probably. This pathing is a little bit complicated. I'm going to go through this guy and then to these two question marks. If I have not become a vampire or a ghost, I'll consider going to these question marks too. And then going to this elite. If I have become a vampire or a ghost or gotten a bunch of money or something, maybe I'll want to go to this shop. And then I get an extra fire before that elite. Probably going to this elite either way though, and then that one. It is a little bit scary. As soon as I go this direction, we're forced into an elite. The only way to dodge an elite... Actually, we can't dodge an elite late in the act no matter what we do. Oh wait, we can. We can go this way if we're super cowardly. Yeah, I think we want to remove a card. We could remove a defend instead of a strike. If we think we're going to turn into a vampire, then there's not really any benefit in removing a strike, because they're going to take all the strikes anyway. But we don't know we're going to turn into a vampire, so we're going to remove a strike. Because we have oddly smooth stone, so defends are still pretty good. Alright, this is the second easy pool fight. We can block out with dash and neutralize. And then I guess Bane. We should do Mugger. He's only got 5 extra health and he hits a little harder, so. Alright. We'll have to shuffle if we want to get back to a Wraith form. Most damage here is Flying Knee, Poison Stab, Strike, which is 8 plus 9 is 17 plus 6 is 23, so it's not lethal. So we probably want to play at least the defend. I think defend, Flying Knee, Poison Stab is probably the line. You could see an argument for well-laid plans, but... Alright, what's in the box? Poison Potion. So if we Poison Potion him, he dies almost perfectly. So that seems great. And then I guess we just block out. We don't really want to see Piercing Wail again, so I'll just use it for T-block. Alright, we need Bouncing Flask basically to hit the looter 3 times. Is the only way we're gonna kill looter before he leaves. Unfortunately, it can just hit Mugger 3 times if it wants to. It didn't totally miss. But I suspect we're not going to get enough damage to kill him. Max damage is Deadly Poison, Sucker Punch, Flying Knee, and it's enough. Wow. Second Bouncing Flask would be kind of nice. Sucker Punch applies a debuff. Second Bouncing Flask is a little bit ambitious. It's a lot of Bouncing Flasks in one deck. We're also a 3 energy deck with a Bouncing Flask, a Wraith Form, and Dash. A lot of expensive stuff kicking around in here. Yeah, I don't really have the energy for a second Bouncing Flask. I would have loved to get like a Happy Flower or something from the stupid Calling Bell. Grumble, grumble. But I really want to increase the coincidence of Bouncing Flask and Sadistic Nature. And the only way to do that is to pick a second Bouncing Flask. Or like upgrade well-laid plans, I guess. Or bottle Sadistic Nature. That would be great. Oh yeah, so this this character is from the first video game I worked on. It's from Ravenwood Fair. It was a game in which it was a Facebook game, so it was like a Flash app on Facebook, and you like had a little fair, and you would walk around setting up little carnival rides for bugs to go on, and but you were on like a little floating island, and the island had like woods on it, so you'd chop down some trees so you could get wood to build your little carnival rides or carnival attractions. and sometimes when you chop down the tree, a monster would pop out, and this was one of the monsters. This is a Criddle Bear. And then you would whack the monsters with your thing. It was mostly a game about watching little animations of bugs having fun, though, which was weird. I'm using Discord. I don't pay attention to it when I'm live. Why are you poking me in there? I got better things to do than type. I'm a content creator, Akiran. I'm creating content. Is it Bouncing Flask? God, it feels really bad. Yeah, I think we can support a second Bouncing Flask. I wish this was a Catalyst, but it's not. Are we a vampire? No, not a vampire. We could transform 2 cards. Get the last 2 strikes out. We're not really doing anything with the strength. And both of these are strength specific. If I transform 2 cards, it's possible that I didn't literally say herder. The herder was implied, and there's a subtextual herder. That's true. You only put the year, so I think you need to say add command if you want. Oh wait, you added a quote? What is the quote thing? How do you retrieve quotes? Ah. Excellent. Okay, fair enough. And then does the quote command just give you a random one? It's kind of fun. Okay, I think we're going to transform 2 strikes. I've never transformed a bottled card. If you transform a bottled card, is the resulting card also bottled? I imagine it's not. Alright, let's do it. Oh, I got a Catalyst! Wow! That's literally what I was hoping for. Great. Also got a useless choke, but, you know, not really any particularly less useless than the strike it replaced. Still looking for bites. We got a snake plant instead. No bites for you, sir. Piercing Whale Bouncing Flask is a pretty good way to start. I guess I'll throw in the Neutralize. Bit of extra flavor. I guess we choke Sadistic Nature, Alchemize? What a weird turn. I guess we could Sadistic Nature choke too. They both apply 3 extra damage. It doesn't matter which order to play them in. Liquid Bronze. We'll just save that for the heart. Piercing Whale's good. Sucker Punch probably doesn't do anything. How's it going, Troll? We could just take 6 and do Bouncing Flask. I think I like that. Get a whole bunch of poison. Do some sadistic damage. Snake Plant's hard. There's that Catalyst. We can't play Distilled Chaos, because we have these bad potions. Distilled Chaos is not great in the deck because we have Wraith Form, but we also have well-laid plans, so maybe we can manipulate what our draw is going to be. Sucker Punch Plus is better than Sucker Punch, and regular Sucker Punch was good enough to go in the deck. I was intending to upgrade this Neutralize because I bottled it. But if I take Sucker Punch Plus, I'm pretty much never upgrading Neutralize, because I'll have 4 weak in the deck. I think you forgot your troll face there, Sir Artemal. Infinite Blades is terrible. Yeah, okay, I'll Sucker Punch. Why not? You think sorry, was that a legitimate suggestion for Infinite Blades? Yeah, Infinite Blades is bad. You spend an energy on it, and then you have to wait. It doesn't do anything, and the next turn you do 4 damage. Like, we don't have any strength scaling. I'm not sure why people want Infinite Blades. Huh. Yeah, I'm a little bit mystified. Almost all of our damage is like poison. I guess it works with choke. Can you, Sir Artemal, can you describe what you think the most appealing qualities about Infinite Blades are in this deck? No, we're in Act 2. I mean, I guess you did already describe it, but a free attack every turn is not something I find compelling. Let's go resting here so that we don't die. We don't have a ton of money, so we probably don't want to go to the shop, so we're going to keep looking for ghost and or vampire stuff. We're pretty low on upgrades. We could take the pain. Sorry, I should let this thing explain itself. Yeah, so it gets you an upgrade every turn. It could get an upgrade on Wraith form. We have well-laid plans, so we can hold something and wait for it to get upgraded. Oh, we do have Omamori, yes. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, so this is amazing, because we have Omamori. Jesus, I always forget about Omamori. It just has a 1 next to it, and that's all it does. Right? No. Okay. So the relic is great. We got one more chance to try and turn into a vampire ghost. No, we get attacked instead. Okay, so we're taking 13 damage currently. We're gonna neutralize. Okay, so now it's down to 9 damage, and we can block that with defend. Seems good to me. But now we're frail. Let's see. Wraith form is in the discard, so it can't be drawn. We could lose Catalyst if we Distilled Chaos. Let's give it a shot. Okay, we got Sadistic, which is what we were hoping for. And now we can alchemize. Cool, duplication version. Nice. And then I guess we well-laid plans and hold the Piercing Whale, in case they both attack. I think that... So, are you asking that question in regards to Ascension 20 or Ascension 0, or non-Ascension? Yeah, I think for me, on Ascension 20, it's Ironclad. But if you're on Ascension 1, yeah, for non-Ascension, actually, Ironclad is one of the easiest. Ironclad's actually great for non-Ascension. You think Watcher is the hardest on non-Ascension. That's really interesting. Or wait, are you talking about... Oh, I see, you're tracing. So we did get the upgrade on Piercing Whale. We can block with the other Piercing Whale, or we can defend and take 1. I don't need to be too precious about the Piercing Whales here, so I'll go ahead and just use it. Keep the better one. I would love to Bouncing Flask Catalyst, but then we would take 18 damage. And that would make me sad. We could spend both potions to block for... wait, why is it only 6? Oh, it's not upgraded. So it'd be 8, 16. Spend both potions and then Poison Stab Catalyst. Oh, we could double Catalyst, that's true. So, assuming that Bouncing Flask hits him once, then he would go to 8, and double Catalyst would go 16, 32, and he wouldn't die. If it hits him twice, he goes to 11, and then we go to... Oh wait, did I use triple? This is an unupgraded Catalyst. So if it hits him once, it goes from 8 to 16, 32. Oh, I did it right. So then it goes from 11 to 22, 44, and he still doesn't die. So I guess he takes 9 extra damage. But from 4 to 54, that's still not enough to kill him. So we'd have to... Bouncing Flask would have to hit him 3 times. That's the only way it kills him. So I don't think I'm going to do that. Because then I take 18, and I'm sad. I'm also a little sad if I use both potions to just block for not all that much. But I think that's what's going to happen. I guess I could just use Duplication Potion and block with Piercing Whale. No, I just did the math for twice. If it hits twice, he goes to 11, and then 22, 44, plus the 9 damage from Sadistic. 44 plus 9 is 53. 53 is less than 57. It doesn't hit him for 12, it hits him for 9. Because Bouncing Flask hits him twice, and Catalyst hits him once. Oh, that's true, Catalyst hits him twice. I see what you're saying. Okay, so it's like... it's like a 50-50 then, right? It's a 50-50 that causes me to take 18 damage. I guess even if it only hits him once or it doesn't hit him at all, we could still Duplication Potion the Piercing Whale and just take 2. So let's start with Bouncing Flask. And then if it hits him twice, we can double Catalyst. Okay, well that's fine. God damn it. Okay. So we're restarting this fight. No, it's fine. That was funny. Okay. Okay, so we're blocking out this turn and then Bouncing Flasking. I'm pretty sure that's what we did last time. For those of you new to the channel, I am not shy about restarting fights. I will restart the fight over and over until I get it correct. I do have rules about this, though. I'm not... the way that I do this to avoid cheating, so I don't ever make a decision that depends on knowledge of future random events. So if we do something, and it's for a good reason, then we're not going to see how the thing works out and then undo it, right? That would be cheating. But the thing that's not cheating is if we just do our math wrong, I'm not shy at all about restarting the fight. Or if we, like, fail to use a potion or something, that's fine. Okay, so what we did here was we distilled Chaos, and we found Sadistic Nature. And then we Sucker Punched and Alchemized and Well-Laid Plans and held on to the Piercing Whale. Yeah, yes, you can restart fights. Okay, so this is not the turn where we messed up really bad. Oh, this is the turn where we, like, Piercing Whale? Why did we Piercing Whale here? Did we Piercing Whale defend Flying Knee? I don't understand why we wouldn't just... Oh, I see. We dash and piercing wail to block out. Okay. I would love to show Kat, but I don't know where she is. Have you seen her wandering around? I don't know. I don't see her. Alright, so this is the turn we messed up. Okay, so I think what we do here is we... I think what we do here is we... Do you know where Coconut is? She's upstairs, okay. Sorry, Coconut is unavailable. She's currently working with my wife. Okay. So we could still Bouncing Flask and then Duplication Potion a Piercing Wail and take 2. Or we can Poison Stab, Double Piercing Wail Catalyst, and just take a little slower route. Kieran says hi. She does not care. She's like, whatever, stupid internet people. Yeah, I think I like Poison Stab Catalyst, Double Piercing Wail. I see, okay. I don't know if you heard the excuse, but she had mouthwash in her mouth. So if we do that, he goes up to 9, then 18 poison. 18 poison is probably enough to win the fight. So let's do that. I'll save the defend. I guess we could choke. Choke got upgraded. Yeah, when it does a bunch of damage. It's probably lethal, yeah. Great. I'll keep a Wraith form just in case. Probably nothing else interesting will happen in this fight. We don't have any side quests, we already used Alchemize, so... We're just doing whatever. I'm so confused about why people are talking about Snorlax. There's a Noxious Fumes. Noxious Fumes plus, whatchamacallit, Sadistic Nature is pretty insane. I think most silent decks that are doing poison stuff want at least one copy of, or want a copy of Noxious Fumes. You definitely don't really want a second one. I'll take one. Pretty happy with that. Ooh, Tungsten Rod is a premier relic. I read chat. People just suddenly started talking about... Kieran was just like, Snorlax around the house. I don't know. It's great. I love it. Coconut is now a Snorlax. I didn't know, but... just stands there and does math. Yeah, Tungsten Rod is particularly useful for its interaction with the heart. It's probably the best thing Tungsten Rod does. Doesn't seem like we have too many choices this turn. We're just going to do some damage and end a turn. I guess we could have flex potted. That's a decision could have made. Upgraded Wraith form is cool. Defend Sucker Punch blocks out this turn. Or we could choke defend, which does slightly more damage. Almost blocks out. I guess it does significantly more damage. Does 15 damage versus 7. It's 8 extra. Sure. I'll take 8 extra damage. For 1. Aha, Tungsten Rod. That's right, it didn't take any damage. 1 is the same as 0. It's a bit of a tricky situation. I think I want the Dex pot so that I can alchemize. Blessing of the Forge is not very good here. Which does more damage over the course of a fight? 10 damage now, or 7 damage, 3 of which is poison? Well, this pays off over the next, like, over the next 2 turns, and the fight's definitely going to go at least 2 turns long. Calculating poison damage is tricky. The way that I think about it is you sort of pay the amortization cost of poison with one of the cards. Okay, so if you were to... Here, I'm going to get out paint right now so I can draw something. Everybody get hyped. I'm going to switch the OBS view so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so if we were to look at poison damage over time, let's get a little graph in. Do we do shapes or do we... No, we just freehand it. Now let's make a big line. Big red line. No, black for the axes. Okay, so we got an axis. And this is damage. And this is time. Okay. So, poison. Now I'm stuck in the text tool. Okay, great, now I'm out. So poison's damage kind of goes like this. Right? Because it's like, it does a lot of damage at first, and then it sort of wears off over time. Here, let's do total damage in red. And then let's do marginal damage in blue. So the marginal damage is a straight line down. Okay. Okay. So, and then red is sort of the integral of green, right? But in reality, the fight actually ends. And the fight ends like here. Oops, I should make that one black. Right? We don't wait until the poison ticks down forever. So since the fight ends here, there's sort of 2 sections of the green curve that we care about. There's there's this polka dot section, and then there's this lined section. And when you're thinking about poison damage, you can try and calculate either the sort of the amortized section, where you lose damage every turn, or you can just count it as bulk. So your first tick of poison is kind of, you're filling up this amortized portion, but then after you've got like 5 poison applied, when you apply 5 more poison, you should just think, this does 5 damage per turn for the rest of the fight, because you're into this section. That's the bulk of the poison. And the more damage you're doing with poison, the higher up this curve goes, but the slope doesn't change. So the more important it is to think about it as just damage per turn, rather than damage that decreases every turn. Thanks for indulging my math illustrations. Okay, back to Slay the Spire. So this does 3 damage per turn for the rest of the fight. So after 2 turns, it pays off versus Bane. So we're gonna do it. Yikes, we get to get Catalyst Plus, which is cool. But everything costs 3, because Snecko is mean. We're also just dying. We have to play Defend or we die. And I don't like dying. I also don't like dying with potions in my hand, so we're going to use a potion now, because this looks pretty desperate. Yeah. Yikes. Dash saves us this turn, when everything still costs 3. Yikes. Oh my god, we're totally gonna die to Snecko. Okay, I guess we survive another turn. Oh boy. We have Wraith Form. Wraith Form makes us survive. Everything costs 1 now, which is much better than costing 3, in my opinion. So we can, like, choke Wraith Form Deadly Poison, take 1, 1 is actually 0 with Tungsten Rod, so no point in blocking. Yes, yeah, the Snecko effect without the +2 draw is terrible. Also, we didn't build around it, but, you know. Alright, that should be enough to make us survive. Now everything costs 0. Now that we, like, almost died. Stupid Snecko. Well, that was, great. We're totally ready for this elite. Now we're at 5 health. Is there any way we possibly beat this elite? If we take Blade Dance and we Flex Pot, we do some extra damage, which is something. Okay, so it's either Gremlin Leader, Slavers, or Book of Stabbing. Let's assume that we can only beat one of them. Let's choose the easiest one and try and figure out how we beat it. Okay, I think the easiest one is probably Gremlin Leader, because we have Catalyst, so we can maybe kill the gremlins and then kill him. I think Book kills us. Maybe not, we do have 2 copies of Piercing Whale, so maybe if they line up perfectly, we can just, like, stop him from ever attacking us, kill him. Okay, so in either case, we need to line up a bunch of poison and catalyst it. And the only way that's happening, or that happens slightly more often if we take Deadly Poison right now. So I guess we take Deadly Poison. It would be foolish to consider anything other than the very next fight, because the very next fight will probably kill us. Okay. We have to block for 5 this turn. It seems like we probably need Bouncing Flask to do some pretty nice stuff. So let's see what it does. That does kill Sneaky Gremlin. Thanks to the follow, I guess I'll call you Scoot. Mojzizi? How do you pronounce JZ? Is that a joke about... Oh, Moises. Okay. We could Bane and kill the Fat Gremlin, which is nice, because then it prevents him from attacking. Ah, Polish. You know, I think there must be some, like, time zone stuff going on, because I looked at my, followers, and a lot of people were from, sort of that specific slice of Europe, the, like, my geology is probably too weak to make this sort of comment on stream, because now I'm, like, struggling to identify it. Like, the slice of Europe that's, like, aligned with Scandinavia, and, like, a little bit west of the Balkans. That's my attempt at not embarrassing myself. Killing Fat Gremlin seems pretty good. I think we want to Poison Potion the leader, because we need to start getting him dead. Yeah. I am kind of a math teacher. It's kind of a weird thing to realize about yourself. I guess we alchemize, and maybe it's really good. That's pretty good. I'll drink that right now. We don't need any of these, so we can well-laid plans. And we can keep Piercing Whale. He has a big multi-attack, so... if Piercing Whale gets upgraded, we can maybe block it all out. Him not attacking is also really nice. Unfortunately, these guys are. So we can Piercing Whale on them, and then they both hit us for 1, and we survive. So then we Piercing Whale Bouncing Flask. Maybe Bouncing Flask hits Gremlin Leader repeatedly. And we keep Wraith form. We're working with what we got here. It's not going super well. Yes, hit that guy. No, not these guys. Seems like a pretty good time to Wraith form. Unfortunately, it did not catch an upgrade. So we're probably holding... No, we don't need to hold Piercing Well. We need Noxious Fumes next turn. I'm not a teacher. I'm a software engineer. I make video games. We can hold Catalyst until it does enough damage to kill him. Or we could Poison Stab Catalyst right now. Let's see, so that does 3, puts him up to 13, and then we go up to 26. We'd have to survive that for 4 turns. I don't think we're doing that. I don't think we can survive that for 4 turns. So let's Noxious Fumes and Poison Stab. Yeah, and wait for it to get upgraded, hopefully. Okay, so if we Bouncing Flask and it hits him 3 times, and then we Catalyst, does he die? Or we could just Deadly Poison and Flying Knee him. That's not that much less damage than Bouncing Flask. I mean, it probably is, but let's think about Bouncing Flask first, and then we can do these two. So Bouncing Flask 3 times is 9 poison, so he goes up to 24 poison, and then we double it to 48 poison. So he takes 48 and goes to 31. And we do 12 damage from Sadistic, so not close. Is Flying Deadly more? And so then if we Deadly Poison, he goes to 12 poison, or goes to 22 poison, and then we Catalyst him up to 44 poison. Wait, how is that more? What did I do wrong here? 24 to 48. No, it's okay, so it's slightly less. Okay, so 22 to 44, and then 12 extra damage. Yeah, so we're dying here for sure. There's no way to block for that much. That's a tremendous amount of damage, and we have -1 dex. So I guess let's do the max damage we can. Not crazy far off. Defeated. The spire consumes another. What went wrong with this run? It seemed like it was a pretty good one. I guess we never turned into a vampire or ghost, which was unfortunate. We didn't get the catalyst upgraded. We also got the catalyst really late. Being a 3 energy deck is rough. Actually, what went wrong with this run is Calling Bell totally screwed us. Calling Bell just like... yeah, was not nice. 1 dex, not very impactful. I guess if we'd taken the Sacred Bark, maybe it would have turned out different. If we'd taken the Sacred Bark in that fight, we would have had like a 12. Yeah, we did also like lose a lot of health to Snecko. So that Snecko mostly bears the responsibility for killing us, because he did like 50 damage to us. Yeah, but it's really that Curse of the Bell, or that Calling Bell that screwed us. We made pretty good use of the Omamori. I'm pretty impressed. I almost never like completely use an Omamori, and being able to get all the way through it, getting really useful relics in Act 2 is pretty impressive. But like all the relics were good. Bottled Flame, Anchor, Omamori that we actually used. We got Tungsten Rod. Yeah, I think Bell. I picked Bell, so I think Bell was the right choice. If we knew the outcome of Bell, certainly we would not have chosen it. It was just really unlucky. But that's the way it goes sometimes.